like to call the Planning Commission meeting to order. 3 members are present, so we do have a quorum today. I do need to administer an oath to anyone that plans on speaking at today's meeting outside of the typical attendees. I believe this is just for, looks like we have a case and a communication. So those in attendance that, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth to this commission, best of your knowledge? All you have to say is I do. I do appreciate it. Thank you, gentlemen. Our first item is disposition of our last meeting's minutes. Has everyone had an opportunity or that wishes to review the minutes done so?
You'll see a notation where Shar corrected that 1,000 surveys were sent out on the Arts, Parks, and Recreation Plan, but there certainly was not 1,000 returned. But so we've just drawn a line through that.
127. Or 8, was it?
They seem to think it was a 15% rate. So
Still pretty good, right?
Yeah, I guess. Since I did last time, I guess I can move to accept the minutes.
Okay. Would someone like to second that?
second,
All right. All those in favor of accepting the minutes?
aye.
And one abstaining since they were not present. I think we can still accept that as accepted minutes, though.
Okay.
Our first case and only case is number 1206. It's at 63 North Court Street. Representative is RVC Architects, and it is a Title 41 site plan review. It was discussed at the last meeting. So if you could just give us the highlights as you typically do, we'd appreciate it.
As you remember, this was an open communication at the last meeting. I guess they would be here for Title 41 final approval today. I have forwarded the staff report from all the department heads to everyone there. Hopefully you had a chance to take a look at it. They are requesting, as recap, to put a 3rd floor on the building, which will handle or house residential units as well as the 2nd floor currently will, and commercial will remain on the 1st floor. In the staff report from myself, the zoning was acceptable. They did receive variances for the side yard setbacks, and they should have received their variance as well for the rear yard, which I probably have to take fault for. We forgot to put that in on the agenda, and I will bring that up with the BZA at one of the upcoming meetings to get that included in here. All other requirements, if I believe the height was okay. Parking, they did receive their variance for 20 beds or 20 parking spaces at a remote site that was greater than the 250 feet, but they did receive that variance, and they also received a variance for the 1st floor business use for not having any parking where 18 spaces were required. One of the things we noted that they did need to show some bicycle parking on the drawings, and John can discuss those today, as well as the dumpster situation. Again, we are hoping to concentrate on the centralized recycling program in the North Court Street area this summer, but not knowing if that'll come to fruition, that we would still need to have location for trash. They will be on the agenda for shade tree on June 14th. They will likely obviously have to bank trees in that situation. The stuff I sent, or the information I sent to you last week, did not have the report from Chief Troxel. Char, did you get the most recent one to them? Yes, they do. You do have that in your report now, his comments.
Yeah.
The questions he had, and hopefully Mr. Valentor can answer those questions as well. John, did you get that this morning?
I just got it.
Okay. There were no issues from the Athens Police Department and no issues from City Planner and Engineering Public Works. Andy Stone refers to the memo attached that should be in your report as well, and Mr. Valentor can comment to those as well.
Any other questions?
Well, Mr. Valentin, do you want to start with the, I guess, Chief Troxel's comments? That seems to be the sort of only outstanding ones.
Everything on there, where the windows open, yes.
Fire separation between floors, 1 hour, as required by code. First floor, what is there?
I assume he's meaning use? Is that-
It's probably, most likely it's going to be some type of assembly,
Right.
you know, whether it be a restaurant or something to
Okay,
that effect. I doubt if it would be a business, possibly a mercantile, but we're designing it as a assembly. So
Okay.
that our fire ratings for the building,
Oh, I
because
see.
we are going to put a frame third floor on there, fully sprinkled. If it's an assembly, I'm allowed to have 3 stories type type 5A,
okay,
protected. I'm only allowed to have 2 stories if it's
Might be.
5B.
okay.
So we're designing the facility to accommodate actually any occupancy on that first floor.
Okay.
It will be sprinkled as a commercial, not as, in the upper floors, probably as R13.
Okay,
Lockbox we haven't located it, but of course we will.
right,
Monitored fire alarm, obvious, that's going to be the case.
right.
A couple of the things I haven't shown on the drawings yet, but the bicycle parking will be located in the lot that's going to be also used for parking, which is across Carpenter Street from this site. You'll just have to make sure I show the drawings. I don't have it on there at this point in time.
Because of the number, some of them have to be covered, though.
Well, I've got to work that out with you guys. Okay, I mean, they make them. As long as I keep it under 150 square feet, I don't have to get a state permit.
Yeah, I don't think you would need that much coverage for the number. How many units is it?
Well, there's 18, so I have to have 18 spots for bicycles, I guess, is what you're saying.
Yeah, you have to have half covered.
Yeah,
Half covered? Well, in any
Yes,
case,
that's
as long as it's
what I'm
under
thinking.
150
Right.
square feet, I'm fine.
yeah, I don't see how it would get.
You got 20 beds,
Just,
so.
I guess so long as you're not too elaborate with your bike shelter.
They make these things prefabricated. We're not gonna, we'll just buy something off the shelf for that. One other, I have been dealing, and I don't think even John realized it, with Andy Stone concerning the 4-inch sanitary, upgrading it to a 6. Now, I see it's still on here. He was hopefully going to respond to a communication I just gave him yesterday afternoon, when I actually did a fixture count and did the fixture unit count for this building. My calculations indicate that it still can remain a 4-inch sewer. It doesn't have to be increased by 6 inches. Now, we're going to put the clean out in, and this is what I proposed, the 2-way clean out at the curb. If there's any hint of an issue or a problem at that point, and he will be there to observe that as well, then we can address that issue in the field. I'd rather not plan on this, at this point in time, though, of tearing out Court Street to put a 6-inch sewer line in when it's really probably, even when I considered the downstairs being used for a bar, adding 4 more toilets, and 5 new taps for, I don't know, sinks, coolers, drains, or whatever, we still were under the fixture unit requirement for a 4-inch drain at not even a 1/4-inch slope.
Okay.
So if it's over a 1/4-inch slope, we can go much higher in terms of the number of fixture units that can be accommodated in that 4-inch pipe. I'm just trying not to tear up the street but one time here for the water line. Because if I do both, I have to do it 2 different places, because I have to be 10 feet apart from the water and sewer.
So you're saying that you sent an email to Andy?
A letter.
And you haven't gotten a response? I mean, basically, this one just says it's unacceptable, so what is...
Well, they'll have to monitor this communication here. We'll do whatever is required, but I'm, at this point, negotiating with him on this point. That's all.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I think as long as you show the proposed fixture count, I mean, the fixture count that you have for the space as well as what you,
Proposed.
what you propose and then is what you potentially could foresee once that,
Right.
that first floor is built out.
Mhm.
I mean, I think as long as it shows that's under 4 inches, I mean, I think what he may be under the assumption of what the first floor might be very different than what
Right.
the developer does.
And it's close, I mean, but we don't know the slope per foot of this line. This building does not have a basement. So
Right.
any changes we make, we're going to have to go in there and rip out the first floor to try to get at the sewer line where it leaves the building.
Okay.
If it was a basement and we could identify easily the sewer line as it, usually they leave, most of the buildings, a lot of them uptown, we have to sump the basement
Right.
to get it into the sewer that's exposed and visible. This, we're not able to do that here. But so, like I say, when we actually put the two-way clean out in the curb, we'll be able, at that point, probably to identify if the line, what condition the line is in, with the potential slope of it, scope it around to make sure it's clear, and then make a determination if
Right.
further action needs to be taken to correct that.
I think what he's telling you is this has been problematic, sewer in that area,
I know,
and the
he's told me
current
that.
sanitary line is unacceptable.
Hmm?
It's, the current 4-inch
He said
sanitary...
he would be willing to listen. I talked to him on the
Okay,
phone
you did talk about
before
that?
I wrote the letter, and he said he'd be willing to look at my calculations, and
Okay.
he just hadn't had time to get back, I'm sure, because I didn't get it to him until about 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon.
Okay.
And then the other item is the fact that we are doing those North Court Street infrastructure improvements this summer, whether or not you can align your work so that it's occurring at the same time.
That would be a good idea.
But you can't make that commitment?
I don't know exactly what coordination needs to be done there. Where, does it say there? Okay.
Yeah, just...
Yeah, that's fine, as long as it's early in July. I think in August, they want to try to have most of the stuff done.
Well, we
Okay,
can't even
so-
begin until after July 1st.
It says in the July and August.
It's going to be closed for traffic? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's something
Okay,
that,
then we can schedule the taps then, that's fine.
yeah, if you can land that date and then, get that information in stone, they can have their contractor put on the schedule, so.
Absolutely.
They'll hold a time for you guys as well.
The contractor is going to be the owner in this case, so
Okay.
it's not going to go out to bid. So it's just a matter of me communicating this information to one person.
Okay, that'd be good. And as we typically do, it's usually, there is a negotiation that occurs with the city engineer because the fact of the drawings that they submit to the plan commission does not have to be fully engineered at the time. So, I think there always is a negotiation period that occurs.
Well, I think as long as we put in complies with whatever the city engineer ultimately
Yeah.
determines.
We'll do it.
Okay.
Right.
And you said 18 or 20 beds, correct?
It's 20.
8,
Yeah,
or is it 16?
20.
20? 20.
So you do not have the commercial use identified yet, other than... a
I'm not at liberty to talk about that. I think that there is a tenant that has been interested.
Just make sure they're aware how many fixtures they can put in.
I will.
That'd be key.
Even if it turns into a dance club, 4 additional toilets should be able to accommodate more than would be permitted in that space.
I would imagine.
It says rear exit for the fire
yeah.
department with question marks. Is there a rear exit to this?
Yes,
Okay.
2.
Okay.
I think there's a set of steps from the first floor to get to the second floor out. There's actually one on the side.
Because it's still
There is
blank.
no rear exit, it's a side exit that comes up on, it's a set of steps that you have to get out from the rear of the building on the first floor, because it's below grade. The second floor is actually going to be at grade at the back side of this building.
Okay. On the third floor?
1 story up on the back side. And it only needs 1 means of egress, a fully sprinkled building, and that'll be through the front.
Okay.
Do you have a drawing? I got drawings here.
No, I have drawings.
We do
yes.
have drawings.
Yeah.
Thanks. Any questions, comments?
So the bike racks are going to be 560 feet away from the property line? Yeah.
Unless you want to put it on the sidewalk.
No. I don't think that's a viable.
This building's footprint is the property line. There's no space on the site for anything.
John, I believe there's about 3 to 7 feet, I can't remember what it is, in the rear of the building.
If there is, we'll put it there.
If I remember correctly, there's
So where does this centralized garbage recycling collection go?
Well,
Next to the bicycle rack? It's getting tight up here, we know, it's close.
the one closest to this is the one we've been dealing with for many years.
Somebody told me that's not
On-
theirs.
I think you know which one I'm talking about, Mr. Smeltzer's. Not on that property.
Come off
I
Rose
don't think
Avenue
they
or
can
not?
get back in there with the vehicle. That is a good spot for one back in there. It's just whether we can get back in there. But that's something we can definitely look at when we're doing this.
No. I don't think there's,
Then after that drive, it's tight.
yeah.
Then you loop back in behind the Historical Society.
And I'm sorry, it's Rose Avenue. I keep referring to it as an alley.
I don't think that's even ours, is it? My memory's correct, it's not
It's not.
public right-of-way.
Rose Avenue is not your, not the
No,
city's?
Fern is, but Rose I didn't think was. I may be wrong on that, but I seem to recall
Yeah, I
hearing
don't
that.
know.
Yeah, most of them aren't ours uptown.
Right?
Probably think it's a private
fire
drive,
lanes
because Wharton
required,
actually
but-
bricked it himself
Probably,
up
yeah.
here.
Landowner.
I know Guy Phillips owns that one.
Now
Yeah, there-
that's
Maybe
Comments,
Guy's-
questions,
John's
or
property.
by John
That's the
or
one they ran the electric through the deck.
city planner, you guys didn't have any further comments?
No.
I don't
You
know.
hadn't already addressed, just want to make sure.
No, everything's been covered.
Well, in that case, I'd like to make a motion to accept 63 North Court on the condition that the additional comments, it looks like the dumpster and the bicycle parking are the two outstanding besides the ones by the Department of Engineering and Public Works. It sounds like that fire department comments are satisfied at this meeting.
I would like to include in the conditions for this motion, thank you, that
Or
the
movement.
first floor shall remain for commercial activity.
Okay.
Are you seconding that, or shall I?
Oh,
That's a second?
that was an addition.
Okay,
Would you like to second?
I'll second.
All right, so again, the motion is to accept the Title 41 for 63 North Court Street on the conditions that commercial on the ground floor, that the bicycle parking is situated correctly in the shelter provided, that the dumpster location is is accepted by, I guess this would probably be in Mr. Paskey's court, and then that the negotiations are, or let's say that the Director of Engineering and Public Works is satisfied with the final plan.
That sounds like the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, there are no further cases. We do have communications on the agenda. That is for 22 West Stimson New. Mr. Pasker, Mr. Lowe, would you, one of you, provide us a brief summary? Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I will here as soon as I get
Understand you're
organized.
Switching between cases.
Find out what I did with it. 22 West Stimson, as many of you know, is the Bellavino site that received Title 41 approval some time back. Mr. Wasserman has opted to propose a different version, now having some commercial on the first floor facing Stimson, and has redesigned the parking area so that only 5 spaces now are accessible off of Montrose versus 9 as it was before. He did go to the Planning Commission, the Board of Zoning Appeals for a rear yard setback a couple weeks ago and was granted approval at that meeting. And he's here today for an open communication to propose his new project to the Planning Commission.
Okay.
And then he should be back again in a couple weeks for actual review.
Okay.
May we have one of the big plans?
Yes.
I can only see Sue once.
You just do that. You just do the
Okay. Okay, so the variance for the rear setback was how many feet did it end up being?
If I remember correctly, they needed 30, and it was an average of 12.
12, okay.
Did you say this one has gone to the shade tree?
It did for the original one, but this version has not.
Has there been a change, shift in the number of trees?
Actually, it has more,
Okay.
from what I preliminarily looked at. Or the same, I should say. I think they have a little bit more room to the rear to put in something a little different.
On this new curb cut, what happens to the existing?
I don't know, Paul. That's whether they recurve it and
It appears that's recurved.
would have it.
Absolutely.
Because
Yep,
the curb,
yep.
curb cuts, two of them right now. There's one where this
Yeah.
new business would be.
Yeah, because it's kind of a rough around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll all change.
So it'll become one,
I believe the whole sidewalk will be redone.
That one's
Yeah.
gonna be for
Okay.
you. You gotta give one to
That's
Andy, and then
sidewalk.
the other two will be for
Yeah, and that's.
Nancy and
I think that's what.
RJ. And I
Is it
think the
just
electronic
here?
version too, that I can send out.
so I'm seeing one.
Yeah.
Okay, that's better.
Looks like it's about, actually it looks narrower than this one. But we're trying to compare apples and oranges. If you looked at the distance here, this one looks like it's carved in a little bit more. If I'm reading it right.
Yeah, you're,
I mean, look at the distance between this stairs and here, and this and there. Well, maybe it's, it's hard to say, but. Okay. Wood fence detail.
Not yet. I think they're pretty much the same as the old one.
Are there going to be elevations coming? So we
There
can see
are.
what the front of the building looks like?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I would say about a week to 10 days.
This is,
Before you allow that in your hands.
I wonder where the fence, I don't know, that's what I was gonna ask. I see that on, page C2, there's a fence detail, what's that?
I think what Mr. Valentor is doing these days is has a generic sheet with all kind of details that he knows that the city requires, and whether it's applied or not applied, he still puts them on the drawings. And in this case, I don't know of any instance where that is necessary on this one as of yet. So, other than possibly the fence between, he might have a fence, actually, now that I say that, along his property and the property to the rear.
Yes,
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay.
and that's required, I believe.
Yes, since it is a different R zone,
Right.
screening is required there.
Okay, this really doesn't show it to us.
I was thinking that was a dumpster enclosure that he had drawn there, but it's
Retaining wall, retaining wall.
yeah, I think this,
but it's screening along the parking lot to the rear there.
I'm guessing, or that's the edge of pavement. It's not over this.
No, actually,
did the bedrooms remain the same?
Yes.
Could you tell me again?
18.
18. That's what it is.
This is 18.
okay, so this is the upper space, 5 spaces on top, going to the mattress. The fencing, here, I guess. Here.
That makes no sense.
Which
No,
was,
Well, I'm trying to figure out where the fencing goes. So you said here?
It's right along the north property line of the parking lot, along,
right here,
Okay.
at the back edge of the parking lot on that upper level.
It
Because
is?
you would enter here and see the line
Right,
sort
yeah,
of
okay.
stops.
I think it actually goes all the way across, including the grass area
It does,
behind the
okay.
building. I think it
Yeah,
has
and
to.
it might just not be there, it looks like.
Can I make just a few comments generally before you
Absolutely.
get into details, just to sort of preface the whole project? I'm sure you've heard of the project. We were here in January, spent some time at some meetings, and came out with a Title 41 approval for a different plan, which you're all familiar with. During that process and subsequent to that process, there were some conversations with folks who are stakeholders in the area, business owners, folks with the city, who had some concerns about the way that it was originally done. The way it was originally done was to present a plan that was code-ready based on our interpretation of the code, so that I could buy the building from the current property owner and get the process through, because that property owner was not going to wait around to go through a several-stage process where we got variances and then came back to this body. Having secured that and having a plan that we could build from, after some conversations with the city planners and others, we agreed to kind of go back and take another look at some other ways to accomplish what we wanted to do. And we came up with this plan, which I think has 3 or 4 really significant advantages over what I already have approval for. The first advantage is that by turning the building sideways, we dramatically reduce the visual impact of this building on Stimson Avenue. So instead of a 80-some foot wide structure sitting, at 12 feet from the curb, or whatever it is, 12 feet from the sidewalk, rather, we'll have a building that's just about 55% that big, facing Stimson Avenue, with the rest of it being a lot where there'll be parking and trees and landscaping and that sort of thing. So that's the first advantage. The second advantage of this plan is that it incorporates a smallish commercial space that will be in there, roughly 800 square feet of commercial space, which is larger than the commercial space that sits there now. We can do that because we're essentially cutting into the hill, using space that would have been dirt as parking, and being able to create a space on Stimson Avenue that will be available for mercantile use or office use or some sort of public accommodation, where we did not have that in the original plan. The third and other major advantage is that we reduce the amount of parking and traffic that needs to go through the R1 zoned neighborhood to get to the Montrose Avenue part of the site. As Mr. Paskey just pointed out, that goes from 9 cars to 5, a 44% reduction. And I think that is a significant advantage. The other significant advantage is that this site, as planned now, requires probably no fill dirt to be trucked to the site. The other plan would have required a significant, although I didn't have the actual calculation, a fairly significant amount of fill dirt to fill in the back of the 20-foot high retaining wall that would have gone from end to end. That retaining wall is a lot smaller and shallower now, and we'll essentially be able to take dirt from one part of the property and move it to the other part of the property, resulting in, we think, maybe none, but maybe a small amount of fill dirt necessary to be trucked in. In order to get this approved, we did need a variance. We went to the Board of Zoning Appeals in case 1204V. We secured a variance by a 4-to-1 vote. During that process, there were a couple of business owners along Stimson Avenue who had written letters in support of this new plan because they feel that it's an advantage, that it will bring more commercial business to Stimson Avenue. There was only one person that spoke against it at the meeting. So in a general sense, I feel that although this is taking quite a bit more time than we had planned, and obviously I've put a little bit more money into the development of this, I feel that the end result of this will be a far better building and a far better site for the community, for me, for the city, for everybody, and all the stakeholders surrounding there. And so that is how we wind up here before you today.
Could you provide those letters of support to the Planning Commission?
I've got those.
Okay.
It was from the Athens Bicycle Shop
And the Busy Day Market.
Busy Day Market.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe the Athens Bicycle Shop, the proprietor had originally, on the first plan, had provided a letter against that.
Correct.
That's right.
Development,
Yeah.
so that would be a change.
So that's almost like getting 2 letters, because it's a negative.
No, it means a license. So in terms of, the other side of the process is the eventual plumbing and everything else that has to be looked at, right? I mean, change of orientation shouldn't make that much of a difference.
This is just strictly an open communication today. The application has been submitted to me. I did run through the checklist, so everything is on the drawings to actually accept it as an application for Title 41. we will get that signed off today and posted, and then it'd come for Title 41 hearing 2 weeks from today. So, for the first time. So today, strictly an open communication is yet to be presented to staff, which will begin today and tomorrow. So.
And you had a question about the curb cut, but that'll be addressed in the staff report?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions or?
No,
Okay.
that's good.
Well, I do appreciate you coming in to provide communications on this item ahead of it becoming a case, and it does seem like an interesting project.
The only request I would have is that what I'm hearing from Rick and Valentor's firm is that they might not have representation here for the next meeting. If possible, the staff reviews, can you get them out ahead of time?
Absolutely.
So they have time to respond rather than have to just do it the day before? Does that make sense to you?
That would
Yeah.
be great. And then just a couple of process questions. When is the next meeting after that meeting?
Well, we'll have to discuss that, and John will probably, someone will send you an email.
Well, that's tricky because it's July 4th.
Yeah, so we'll
I
have to
don't
determine
know.
if it's, we'll hold it on the,
You want to move it another, we
Yeah.
can discuss that at the end of the meeting.
right. And so someone will get back in touch with you with what date that is, but, I mean, again, I don't think you have to be here so long as there are responses to any of the questions brought up by the staff reviews. I mean, that's typically what we dwell on at those meetings where we're looking to put on a vote on that case. So, you know, if we have the staff review and they have time and there's a response to it, we should be able to proceed as planned at the next meeting, if that's the case.
Is it possible to be on the phone? Has that ever been done?
I don't know.
No, but I'm not sure it could be. I mean,
Right.
I don't think we could, as commissioners, could actually vote over the phone, but I imagine response could be,
Yeah.
Yeah, we could probably set that up. Would,
I'll be in the country, I mean.
what would be satisfactory response? Would that be if we had all the staff reviews in by next Friday?
Friday, that's,
That way they get a weekend plus Monday and Tuesday to give comment back if there's any issues between John and
yeah.
Mr. Wasserman.
seeing how this has been reviewed once
Shouldn't
on
be-
the utilities and the engineering public works side, it probably
Next
isn't.
Friday. So
I think
whatever
we can probably get
second
everything by
after that
Friday, a week from Friday.
That we can what? What did you
We'll
say?
see what happens. If you get a week from Friday, it'll be on the agenda. If not,
Oh, you are, okay.
won't be.
You're going to be on the honeymoon after that?
Yeah, just for a few days.
He's come up with this excuse that he can't look at him that weekend because he's getting married.
But I'm sure John can.
That's what really matters anyway, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Congratulations.
All right, are there any, there's no further communications on the agenda. We do have a report from our city planner and director of development and code enforcement. Would either of you like to provide a report to this commission?
Yeah, I have a few updates for you.
Okay.
Earlier, let's see, on Monday, we had a final presentation with the OU graduate program. They did the class this quarter on the Arts, Parks, and Recreation Plan. The presentations and the information went really well. I think we got some recommendations that we should try to do a little bit more surveying and get a little bit more input on the plan before we proceed with really delving into recommendations and best practices. So we're going to be looking at that over the summer. I do not have a final physical copy of the plan or of the presentation from them yet. They were still wrapping it up prior to getting their grades at the end of this week. I can provide that to anybody who is interested once I receive it.
It will be electronic, so you can always send it to us.
Yeah, it'll be electronic, absolutely. I'll also have a copy of their PowerPoint presentation. I can distribute that as well. With respect to historic preservation, I am getting even closer to having that wrapped up, but it is not entirely complete yet. Still working out a few of the issues in communication with the State of Ohio Historic Preservation Office. I do expect to have that wrapped up and ideally discussing it with a City Council committee meeting in July. Another update with respect to council, I believe on Monday they did a third reading for the Environmental and Sustainability Commission. So that should be voted on and then going through 30 days of, before it becomes a law here. So we should see that. And council, I believe, will be the appointing commission or the appointing body for that commission probably in September sometime. The only other update I had for you, we included in your packets, there are some community members who wanted the city to look at some options and ideas for changing some of our zoning codes as well as Title 41. That was forwarded to me, and we thought since there was some significant changes that were being looked at, that at least the planning commissioners should be aware of that. I believe it should be in your packets. Is that right, Shar? Okay. That's just for something to look at. I believe Ron Luce, who's sitting behind me, may have worked on that. So perhaps, Ron, at another meeting, you might want to comment on some of those suggestions you guys are looking at. Okay.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you. Questions for the planner? All right, John?
BZA meeting next Tuesday night, June the 12th. Two cases on the agenda. One of them is a continuation of 27 Meadow Lane. We have received the attorney's letter from Solon Wentworth in regards to them wanting removed off of the covenants. That's what the BZA members were asking for. So that will go back up again Tuesday. And we also have a conditional use permit request at 100 Longview Heights for Camp Rattan. They're renovating the back part of their building up there. So those will be the only two cases on the agenda next Tuesday night. Next Thursday night is the Shade Tree meeting on June 14th. And we will have 4 cases going before them. The 152, 154 Mill Street project that we've tabled here until they get some more information for us. The Greenleaf Landscapes project that came through a while back because of their time frame and everything, they haven't been able to go yet, so we're going to try to get them on. 63 North Court, as we discussed today, and 22 West Stimson, as we discussed today. So 4 cases before the Shade Tree Committee next week, or Commission. Thought I'd just let everyone know that it's encouraging news, I believe, that the uptown business areas, we have now 4 or 5 long prominent vacant buildings are getting filled. One of them's not vacant, but 50 South Court is, help me out, Paul, what's the name of that business that's in
Cross Court.
Cross Court is merging with an Under Armour store, is merging in there with them into that location, and they've already started the work. The old Woolworth building is going to be leased out by the university for classrooms and offices. Is that correct? I believe is what it is. The 63 North Court building is being renovated, and I found out yesterday that 5 North Court, where Specialty Books was, we have a request for a church to move in there into the whole first floor of that structure. So I do have the drawings for that and so on and so forth that will be coming in. So to my knowledge, Burger King the only one left that may be still vacant. So, and then as you noticed today, Move Out is beginning this week, and we have drop-off locations throughout town. There's 9 of them that we encourage people moving out to donate their goods to these different organizations throughout town this coming week, and those will be available until Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
So that is it.
All right. Any questions? No. All right. Thank you both for your reports. Opportunities for citizens to speak about items not covered on the agenda. Would anyone like to? Mr. Lewis.
As you know, I'm Ron Luce, 15 West Hills Drive, Athens. And I just want to make a few comments as you begin thinking about the 22 West Stimson project being altered. As I've said many times, none of this is personal toward Mr. Wasserman. My concern is city code. And I think his desire to try to accommodate one of the burning concerns about commercial business on the first floor is commendable. However, I do want to come back to this group and say that this is a new project, and it is a new project that does not conform to code. It is an R3 project that is being proposed for a B3 business zone. We've all gone through a number of times what is allowed in a B3 business zone, parking for tenants taking up part of the first floor is not an acceptable use, and I believe that was made clear by your own city law director. In spite of the fact that this is a better deal than the first deal, it's still, in my opinion, a violation of code, and the only group that can authorize a change in a non-conforming use is the Board of Zoning Appeals, not this group. Therefore, before you consider this, I highly recommend that you give this to the Board of Zoning Appeals and they make a decision once and for all about what is acceptable in a B3 zone. I have made my case many, many times, so I'm not going to belabor the things that I've already said. But I do repeat that, in my opinion, this is a violation of city code. The previous accepted deal was a violation. This is a better deal, but I don't believe we should support it simply because it's a better deal. Still a violation. Thank you.
All right, thanks for your comments.